Hello YouTube, it is Callum Mag once again. Last time we got up to Ante 8, we nearly got to the boss blind and beat the run on the first try with yellow deck, but unfortunately we faltered. I think watching it back now, there were a good couple of misplays, so hopefully this time around we'll be able to do a little better, but we'll find out. Yeah, so straight off the bat, nice flush to straight to start off. I've already got much to talk about this week. Like last recording, obviously talked a lot about my video game collection and how it all was coming together, but I think, you know, today we're just gonna chill out, just play some. I haven't really got too much more to talk about. I mean, I could talk about the state of retro video game collecting because it is an absolute nightmare as it stands. Just this past weekend I went to London, went to one of these retro video game markets where obviously people have got stalls and everything like that, and just looking at how, I guess, it has evolved from being a hobby where obviously people are wanting to collect some of their childhood video games and, you know, potentially make collections like, you know, what I was doing with Final Fantasy and Resident Evil. It's kind of now turned from being like a niche where people sell to each other, yeah, you're gonna make a couple of quid here and there on titles, to just being outright businesses. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm really not a fan. I think it's really slimy, if I'm perfectly honest, because it's created this artificial bubble that kind of, I don't know, how do I say it? It kind of feeds on people's nostalgia, which I get. I mean, I kind of understand it because, I mean, I'm trying to collect every Final Fantasy. Some of these Final Fantasies were made well before I was born, so it's not exactly as if I'm a new person. Retrigger all card held in hand abilities. That would be cool if we find some like steel cards or something. That can be cool, but that will require a lot of, I don't know how to say it. It will require a lot of like managing the hand, I guess is the easiest way to say it. But that's fine. Yeah, I guess like in one way I understand that anything that has the potential to make money will eventually become an industry in and of itself, and I think it's really began to, especially in like the retro video game collecting scene. It's become basically the heart and soul of it. If you've, you know, we were talking in the last video about like Pokemon Pokemon Crystal, and how even just a loose Pokemon Crystal, 1, 2, 3, 4, we can make a flush out of that. So then if what we do is we bring the 7 and the 6 to the front, we play it like that, then photograph should be able to trigger that, so it'll go to like ×8. Yeah, sweet. Nice. Cool. Yeah, Pokemon Crystal, even if like the cartridge is a little bit like knackered and that sort of thing, you're still looking at like upwards of £90 for it, when a couple of years ago you would have been looking just, I don't know, like in the £20 to £30 region. You know, it's become to a point where you're going to be trying to look for some like limited edition games or ones that I like that. Bootstraps. Oh, it is called Bootstraps as well. Nice. It's not going to be useful to us for a couple of rounds yet, not until we get some money on the go, but I like it. Okay. Yeah, like, I don't know how to say it. Like, it's not that I'm in two minds about it. It's just more so that it just doesn't feel right, I guess, and that kind of like feeds into kind of the morality argument, I guess, about it all. Is that I don't know. Like one perfect example, I guess, I can kind of give would be the last weekend. Wait, ace 2 3 4. I don't want to use these faces though, because that will help with photograph. Oh my god, that did not work out for me whatsoever, did it? Jesus. Oh, this is going to be really naff. Is this run going to end this early? Yeah, so one example was when we went to this market at the weekend, there was a stall, and I remember the guys from when my brother and I went last year, and they were really solid guys, and you could tell that they were wanting to just kind of like offload a bunch of like, especially the lower value stuff that they had. Like they had like a plastic tub that was just full of old, just trying to think if I can get this to work. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, so you can tell that like these guys were just like, they go about to markets and they go about to I don't know, maybe they, wow, okay. Never had that before. Well, I think I've had like one 4 of a kind before. We'll take it. Yeah, they go to like car boot sales and they might just, I don't know, go around the neighborhood, and if like somebody's like saying like, hey, I've got some games on Facebook Marketplace, they might ask them, hey, you got consoles and that, and they'll try and buy them off of them and stuff like that. When it appears more frequency in shops, that would be really good for us. I gotta stop spending money. I mean, at least we get a +2 multiplier, thanks. Yeah, anyway, so nice guys. We've my brother and I sat there and chatted to them for a while last year, especially when he was basically just like, you see this whole stack of games here, and there was like 15-20 games. He was like, give me £5 and you can just have them. You know, not necessarily like the hardest games in the world. It was a lot of like I don't know, like Medal of Honor and some old like kind of like not really valuable like GameCube games and stuff like that, which is fine. You know, we appreciate it. It was nice and cheap, so I can fill out a collection. But there was one guy this time that when I was at the stall and I was looking through stuff, he was running, I think, a couple of stalls over. It was basically I don't really like either of those. I could just take Jolly Joker because it keeps me above 10, so for the +4 mult, then we get +8 if we play a pair. Sorry, I've started to begin to get a bit of a cold, or if it's hay fever, one of the two. I understand want to muck about with Arcana, but I really need to just build some money. Yeah, right. Yeah, so this guy at this other stall, he clearly came into this scene with the intent to make a business and you know, like establish himself as like a kind of like business leader, shall we say, because he was trying to sell retro arcade cabinets, and These are the sorts of like, in my mind, my personal opinion, like these are the sorts of like retro cabinets that you would see. I don't know, online, where people say like, oh yeah, these things can play everything, but they're not really well made. Yes, they contain like 30,000 different games, but you might also see those 30,000 games on like Chinese marketplaces and stuff like that, probably not obtained through like the most legitimate of means. And I don't know, like you could just tell like the vibe that you got from this guy. Anyway, he was talking with the other store owners, and all like I kind of not necessarily eavesdropped like on purpose, but I kind of heard him say like, oh, so do you guys have a business card? And the two guys behind the counter were just like, no, we're just private sellers, like it's not a business or anything. And I shit you not, the guy's jaw dropped to the floor. It was like he couldn't understand the... I'll take that one for sure, because it's earlier on to actually get some usage out of it. I really want the planet one, but that one seems cool. But again, it's one of those like, hey, you change hands and that makes you like want to run different decks and stuff like that. 2 planet cards, 3 cards to clubs, that's copying over. Let's make some wild cards. I think having face cards as wild cards are generally very good. Like, I don't know, that's the way I see it. Yeah, so this guy's jaw dropped to the floor. He was like, wait, so you guys aren't a business? And the guy's like, no, we're just private sellers. We just, you know, sell stuff. And he was like, what, so what, you just sell shit on eBay and that sort of thing? He was like, yeah. That's kind of what we do. And the guy was just, it seemed like he couldn't seem to wrap his head around the fact that people are just selling it without it needing to become a business. And it was really sad to see, because it just kind of confirmed what I thought initially, which was just like, yeah, this guy could just kind of seem sleazy. And he was just like, oh, well, have you got a website I can go to? Or and the guys were like, no, we don't got a website. Like, if you want to like message about like our stock and stuff like that, you know, we can give you our email address and you can just like, of course the fucking 10 turns up now, by the way. 9876. You can play it straight. Yeah, and so this guy was just really kind of hammering on about like, oh, this should be a business, this should be something that you create an LLC for, and all of this and that. And these the guys behind the counter didn't give 2 flying fucks, which was really nice to see. But yeah, it was so dirty. And I think a lot of these people, especially like the ones that you can see have got a lot of branding, and they've got like people walking about with like small little DJI cameras and recording like people buying stuff at their stall and everything like that. You can tell that they want this to become an industry. But I think, and this is just purely my like kind of like thought process on it, is that the moment you want this to become an industry is the moment it's all going to come crashing down, because the entire thing around, I kind of want that and I want that. I might just make myself really poor. I like having an extra hand in general, and having a free reroll means that we can just muck about. So like there, that's actually kind of cool. Looks like that must be called like chalkboard or something. Look at the little chalk there, that's cool. Oh, that could get us a bunch of money, which stacks that. I need $4 though. I hope this turns up in the shop later. Let's say that instead. Yeah. But yeah, the fatal flaw that I think a lot of, I mean, that's a full house, that a lot of people seem to make with, like, especially the retro game community, is that this is a finite business. There are people who are coming out and actively wanting to create collections that they're going to keep, you know, for a very long time, or at least until a point at which they no longer are that interested in it. And for people to try and inflate the market so that these collectors basically have to fork out thousands upon thousands, to then that item, like, theoretically being taken off of the market for 1-2 decades, means that the scarcity of these other items becomes more, and that scarcity then drives the price up even further. And there will come a point where collectors will just straight up turn around and say, there ain't no fucking way I am paying that amount of money. Some of the prices of some of these items should be at that level now. Like, there is a particular item, oh my god, this fucking card again. I like that. If I let that stack for a couple of rounds and then sell it for big money so that Bootstraps has a crazy multiplier and we can actually start getting shit like Arcana packs and Jokers and stuff, I think that's kind of a good thing. That's the way I see it. Yeah. So there will become a point where these, I don't want to say it like that because it sounds really mean, but these culture vultures, because that's the way I see them, like the dude who was making the, like, trying to sell these arcade machines, I see them as culture vultures. I don't see them as people that are trying to legitimately have an interest in this industry, or even just I shouldn't have got rid of the 3, fuck, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that would have been really nice. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 we can try for, but I want to use the face cards because of the photograph as well. What the fuck? Alright. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. It's the same as every other kind of niche or market. You're always going to get people that come in for the wrong reasons and they begin to... Of course, they fucking turn up now. Now we need a fucking 8. They come in for the wrong reasons and they just, like, end up, like, skewing the market in a manner at which we then end up having inflated prices, horrible marketing for essentially their own selfish gain. Like, no one else's apart from theirs. It doesn't make it any better to look at, though. Like, it's not something that I should be happy to see. Like, one of the, I wouldn't say grails because there's a lot more expensive kind of cards out there, that, like, expensive items or rarer items that I would really want. But one of the items that I'm in my near future really wanting to get a hold of is Final Fantasy X's Tiny B edition of the game, basically. And that item is, like, well, for a start, it was only available in Japan, so naturally the scarcity immediately jumps up on that. But then you factor in the fact that there weren't that many of those made, and people, myself included, I'm not gonna like, damn, that's rough. What if I okay, I just want a 9. Well, Ultra, give me a 9. Fuck. That's really sad. Anyway, myself included, certain websites have begun to appear online that act as proxy services to access markets such as Japan. So Sendico, Zen Market, Jaws, they all use their, like, they have warehouses set up in Japan whereby people can go on and they can use, basically those websites will bid on their behalf for items. Now, Japanese market, extremely different market to that of like the UK and the US. The US is a fucking fishing frenzy out there. I can literally pay a pair. Ugh. Yeah, so in the Japanese market, you have people that will list stuff on Yahoo auctions because that's what they use out in Japan. They use Yahoo auctions as a marketplace. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm really in trouble here. I might die out really fucking early. Yeah, so basically when these people put them up on Yahoo Market and stuff like that, they're just looking to get rid of them. They're not looking to sell at a ridiculously high price and all of that. For the most part, a lot of these people are quite simply people who are just clearing out their houses, like they don't need them anymore. Or their passion for gaming has disappeared and stuff like that. When you look at the descriptions of things, it's very like just honest selling, and I don't know if it's because of don't know if it's anything to do with laws or regulations and stuff out there, but everything when you put them on these marketplaces is priced extremely low at the beginning. Like if you go and look at eBay these days, eBay's a shadow of its former self anyway, but by the way, I'm fucked, but this run's already over. This is crazy. When you look at Japanese market, I might throw some examples up. Like if you go look at like Yahoo auctions and stuff like that, you will see that games that over here you would see as like, oh my god, like you would pay like 30-40 quid for this on eBay. Like it's priced at 1 yen as a starter. 1 yen is like a quarter of a penny in the UK. Which is what kind of drew me in the first place, because like obviously I wanted to collect the Japanese version of like these Final Fantasy titles, Resident Evil and all of that. And then when I saw how kind of affordable it was, I was ecstatic. I was able to pick up Final Fantasy 7, 8 and 9 on PS1. From the pictures, they looked great condition, and when they turned up they were great condition as well. I picked them up in, I think, late 2023. I think it was like 2,000 yen, which equates to about, I want to say about 15 quid. 5 each, right? That in today's terms, if you were to go on eBay, I believe like copies of Final Fantasy 7 easily sell upwards of 30 quid. So that's where this whole kind of like insidious marketplace has come from, because you will have people that go to these gaming, like will go, by the way, I've lost this, by the way, I physically cannot win this. That's insane. I can't believe I lost this early. That's crazy. But that's fine. We'll start another run for the next video. But yeah, I'll just finish this train of thought. So yeah, buy low on Japanese auction sites, get them imported. Okay, importing can cost a bit. So what I was doing was I was basically buying a shit ton of the stuff I wanted in bulk. Unfortunately, a lot of it came in job lots, so there was some things there that I wasn't necessarily looking for, but they're still quite cool looking. And then they will then clean up the discs or clean up the cases, go to these markets and go, look at our Japanese games that we've got. Yeah, you can pick up this copy of Kingdom Hearts for the low price of £35 or whatever. And they've made this a business model, but Japan's copped on. Like, Japanese marketplaces have obviously copped onto what's occurring, and as such are now beginning to price things a bit more aggressively so they get a bit more profit. And listen, more power to them on that front. More power to them. I'm not gonna ever like besmirch somebody like original sellers like trying to get a bit more, especially if the end product is somebody else trying to resell it for a higher profit. Because if the higher base profits for like base price on the Japanese market, for example, was high enough, then it would, you know, while still being a fair price obviously, then these resellers wouldn't be basically doing it en masse. I had one of the, I know the name of the store and I'm not going to be shopping with them again because the experience, the way he was talking about it was kind of just really dishonest and horrid. But he basically said to me at the counter while I was picking up one of the games, I had some kind of shitty quality Final Fantasy 7, 8 and 9. I got as duplicates. They were part of a job lot. And I said to him, I was like, listen, they're not going to be worth much. Doesn't really matter to me though. Like, I just want to offload them. I don't want them. What do you want for these? Like, maybe just knock like a $5 off of the game that I'm buying or something like that. And the guy was just like, listen mate, in all honesty, I can get these at the drop of a hat. I don't need them, and that I'm not going to be able to give you much, if anything at all, for these like things. And I was like, oh, okay. He goes, yeah, like if I wanted Japanese Final Fantasy 7, 8 and 9, I just call my guy in Japan and he will literally just go get, you know, like 10, 20 copies for me right now. And I just sat there like, so you've got some dude out in Japan who is basically doing the exact thing that Japanese markets have been complaining about, which is walking into retro video game stores, like the most popular one being Super Potato, but these cheap retro video game stores, and with bins, like plastic bins, and then just clearing the shelf off and then shipping them else overseas. Like, it's so dishonest, it's so fucking horrible. But I guess that's why I'm not a businessman. Because I don't know. And I don't, like, everything here I'm saying is just coming from my like morality standpoint. I'm not the fucking morality police. You know, if there, you know, if I've got a second copy of Pokemon Crystal and I needed to make 90 quid quickly, I'm in a very fortunate position where financially I'm actually in a good place now. But if I needed to make 90 quid quickly, I would go sell my Pokemon Crystal because I know that I've got a second one sat there. You know, if my, in the previous video, the Final Fantasy 13 PS3s, I bought those because one of my close friends is a big fan of the Final Fantasy 13 series. So I thought if I bought these, I would then, you know, job lot sell them to him with a small bit of profit on top. Not like to the point where it's, you know, somebody trying to get like 300 quid for a £140 value console, but at least a fair price, and he would then be able to own these, you know, to go towards something that he actually really enjoys. Unfortunately, he decided against it, which is perfectly fine. But now I get to keep these, and I'm glad I did, because the moment I opened the packages and I actually saw the consoles in person, I fell in love. And that was kind of almost like the turning point of me being like, actually, do you know what? I think, what if I did try and collect every Final Fantasy game and like variant sort of thing? So like one of the next targets on my list is the Final Fantasy Dissidia PSP, PlayStation Portable. Now, again, Japan exclusive, extremely hard to get a hold of. There was also one for the sequel, Duodecim 012. But again, I'm looking on Japanese marketplaces, and fucking rightfully so, they've got them priced up very expensive. The cheapest one I found was £360, which, well out of my budget, something I am absolutely not going to be purchasing. But if it was priced at half that, maybe a third of that price, you would have the sharks immediately snap that up, and that money's gone. And then they're going to sell it for 600, which is what I saw on eBay for a Final Fantasy X-2 Tiny B gun edition of X-2, which uses Yuna's guns as the controllers. You literally control the game like the left side, right side, using these controllers, the guns. It's fucking sick. But that's my immediate next target, and it's something that I really want. Anyway, that was Balatro. I didn't mean to click that. I don't want to start another run. We're not starting another run in this video. But that's that for today. So yeah, there you go. Something I didn't intend to talk about because it sounds really preachy, really morally, but it's something I feel strongly about. Like, why should these games that were picked up for, you know, 15, 20 quid 20 years ago suddenly be worth thousands and thousands of pounds? Understand if it's like new and sealed, like, and it's graded and it's checked over that it's properly sealed, that's worth a bit, because obviously it's, you know, that piece of history has been preserved. It will be like art collectors, I guess, you know, finding a long lost Van Gogh painting and then selling it. So yeah, I'm in two minds about it, but let me know what your thoughts on that, the whole thing, are in the comments. Like, don't obviously just take my word as gospel. Go do your own research and try and you know, formulate your own opinion on it. But it's something that fucks me off. But there we go, got it off my chest. Anyway, have a good day. Please subscribe, please like, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.